Hello and welcome to Stereotypical, the podcast about music and the people that make it. My name is Liam McGrath. I am, as always, joined by Mr. Jack O'Neill. How you doing, Jack?
We made it back.
We made it back.
Not cancelled yet. We're still here.
I haven't spoke to you much since last time we shot last week. But if you remember correctly, I was going off to an open mic night.
Well, yeah, you was in between minds, weren't you, about going or not?
Yeah, basically, I was gigging again on Friday, and I was shitting myself before. Just decided to update the people, shitting myself a bit beforehand. So I decided to do some like open mics. So I went to the Cavern, Liverpool, the famous Cavern. Not quite.
Is there more than one Cavern?
Well, there's the Cavern Club and the Cavern Pub. They're across the street from each other. They're both on the same.
I've
famous street.
I've been to the Cavern Pub then.
Well, the pub is where the thing was, so it wasn't quite the famous Cavern. But
Right.
anyway, that was all sound. And then when we were shooting last time,
Yes, it was all sound.
when we were shooting last week, I'd been saying in the daytime, I've put my name down for this open mic.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to go. We've been shooting all day. I'm tired. I was just giving all these like whinging, bitchy excuses. But then I was like, you know what? You never know who's going to be in the room.
FOMO.
Yeah, well, but it also like it's taking a chance in it. You're putting yourself out there. You're like, this is a new environment. So it was at this place in Liverpool that's like known for being involved with like music and theatre, and it's where like a lot of creative people go and hang out and stuff. And a lot of times with open mics, it's billed as like music and poetry, right?
It's billed as.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like music and poetry open mic, but you get like, I think at the Cavern, for every like 10 musicians, there was a poet. You know what I mean?
Right.
So not a lot of poetry
What
going
sort
on.
of poetry would it be, though?
All sorts.
Like just
But I think
poetry.
poetry is it's a hard thing to get right. And especially if you're like performing the
I was
poetry.
going to say, it's poetry not like a written...
Well,
format.
normally, yeah, but I guess you can perform it. You can read out poems you've
I
written.
kind of like slam poetry.
Yeah, well, I guess it could be a bit like that. Isn't slam poetry normally improv, though? No?
I don't know, I just know it from...
It's from Superbad? No,
It's
not
not,
Superbad. From
22 Jump Street.
Yeah, 22 Jump Street.
Cynthia.
So this one was billed as, like, music and poetry, and I was like...
Was there any poets there?
Well, this is what I'm getting at, right? So I was like... Oh, there'll be the odd poet.
Someone forced you to go on
Right.
as a poet.
Yeah, you're not allowed to take the guitar, just read your lyrics.
You walk on last night. Nope.
No.
Back off.
Guitar down. So, already, it's a bit of a weird venue. I'd never been before. But I'd heard good things.
How have I been there then?
No, this isn't the Cavern one. This is
Oh, right.
this is the Cavern was Monday, this is Thursday, right?
My hands up.
So, it's a bit of a weird venue because, like, the bar's, like, in the middle of the room.
I like that.
Which is cool for a bar. It, like, sort of comes out from the wall and goes around like that. But as a venue, it means that it kind of, if you're on the other side of the bar, you can't see the stage.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean? So it also limits the space between the stage and the bar. So, like, I was having to, like, look down at people. If I looked across, I was looking directly at the bar. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was a bit like, oh, this is a bit of a weird setup, but it's fine. I've performed in far worse.
Okay.
There was a lot of poets, right?
There was.
And I say a lot of poets, I mean, like...
The odds have reversed.
Mostly poets. And when I got there, they were like, oh, do you want to go in the first set, the second set, or the middle set? Like, because we're going to do, the people who organise it were like, we'll do a few acts and then have a little break, and then do a few more acts and have a little break, and then do a few more acts. So there's 3 slots.
Right, okay.
And I was like, I'll go anywhere. They were like, well, there's already got a lot of people doing in the first set, so we'll put you in the middle. I was like,
Okay.
sound bollocks.
Right.
I was in the end set for some reason. Right.
Right.
I also got the
Do you think
impression
that was like a bad thing, though, that you got put on towards the end?
well, it was bad because I had to sit through everything else.
All right, it's bad
Right.
for you.
Yeah,
Right.
Which
okay.
normally, like, I don't mind. I'm interested to see whatever people are performing, be it poetry or music.
Right.
But I got the feeling that this is the first time they'd put this night on.
Right, okay.
So already I'm in the...
Bit shaky.
I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't going to be as good as I thought it was going to be, right? Then, the poets start.
Mm.
And like I say, nothing wrong with poetry. I really appreciate it as an art form. I just think it's a very difficult thing to get right.
How long is a poet's set?
They were doing like 2 or 3 poems each. So it was pretty. They were turning over poets pretty quick. Okay. But there was a lot of them.
Right.
I probably sat through 10 to 15 poets before I went on. And the thing is, and I don't want to
shit on poets.
Yeah, because it might have been. I got the impression that it was kind of these people hadn't done this often. You know what I mean? Like the performers maybe gone once or twice in the past. And everyone. The point of open mics is to practice, isn't it? You know what I mean? I suppose.
Yeah,
but I just got the sense that there was a slight lack of self-awareness. Like everyone was going up and being like, this one is kind of this is about depression or whatever. So yeah, this is gonna be a sad one. And they're like, if you're gonna do poetry, perform it. You know what I mean?
And let the people decide.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to shit on people because they're all trying.
Yeah.
And I haven't written poetry since I was young and shit at writing anything.
Right.
So I don't know what
good poetry is.
Necessarily, yeah, but some of these did seem like the text messages that they should have been sending to the partner that broke their heart rather than it wasn't very there wasn't much metaphor going on. They were just saying literal things as if they were talking to the person.
So you don't want to shit on poetry, but the poetry was shit.
The poetry wasn't up to scratch, right?
Of what standard we do not know, but it just wasn't there.
Well,
subpar poetry.
Yeah, which
SPP
is fine occasionally, but I think
the occasion subpar poetry.
Poetry done wrong is kind of like bad stand-up. When you sit through it and you cringe a little bit.
Right.
So I was kind of feeling like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have come here because...
So was there any other artists on before you, singers?
Well, there was...
Before the dreaded last set?
I think there was 2 or 3 singers, right? No one was singing original songs, which is part of my beef.
Right.
Because I'm like, this is meant to be a hub for the local arts.
Right, okay.
And everyone's just coming up. The poets, fair play, they were all writing their own poetry. At least they were giving it a fucking shot.
Well, you wouldn't know, would you?
But,
if they were.
Well, true, yeah. But all the musicians were doing covers.
Right.
So the first set of musicians get up, right? And I'm like, oh, here we go.
Now, not a solo geezer.
Now we're talking, it's 2 dudes, right?
You do this back to back.
Man with a guitar, singing, and a drummer.
And
Well, here's the situation. They had set up, right, one of the other dudes, because actually there was a girl singing earlier on in the set, and she had a guitar guy playing with, and he had a suitcase that had a kick drum and a tambourine on it, so he was doing it with his feet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Sort of street performer sort of.
Yeah, and they were good, to be fair. Good guitarist, good vocal. Again, just doing covers, but I was like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Then a load of poets ensued. Then these guys got up. I was like, okay, here's more of my people. Let's see what the crack is. And the drummer, quote unquote, had forgotten to bring sticks. Right. So there was this suitcase thing, but there was also a little tiny kick snare hat combo, a hat, just a little house kit that you could use.
Yeah. A little jazz piece.
Yeah. But he hadn't got any sticks, right? Okay. So I assume his boy said, fuck it, I'll just go up. I'll just do the thing. Right. So the guy got up, started playing. He was good, Seemed a couple of years younger than us, but he had a good voice.
What was he singing?
Covers of fucking somebody.
Really? You didn't know?
No, I didn't recognise them. Some new age indie covers or something. But I was like, oh yeah, this guy's okay. But halfway through his first song,
voice break.
His boy gets up.
Oh,
right. Having found a spoon and a makeup brush in place of drumsticks, right?
Right.
So he gets up while the guy's still mid-song. He gets up on the stage, and he's looking at the little house kit, and he's looking at the suitcase with the kit, and they're both on opposites. And he's sort of looking at the spoon, and he's going, which one should I do? And then he grabs the hi-hat from the house kit and goes to take it over to near the thing so we can do both, essentially, right, near the little suitcase. In doing so, like, stands on the fucking power cable for the guitar amp. So the amp cuts out.
Fuck's sake.
So his boy is then now, like, ampless. So he just goes, well, I guess that's the end of the first song. And everyone sort of goes, yeah, great. Yeah. So then there was a bit of an awkwardness while this guy, like, tried to set up. And, like, you know, one of the guys who was just helping out with the sound came and tried to help him do the thing. And then they played 2 songs where, and I wouldn't have minded, right? Because there was still, he could have pulled it back. There was still opportunity for him to be able to play the hi-hat, the kick, and a tambourine. He could have played them well with a spoon and a makeup brush. Right. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't know if this guy was new to drumming.
Or just pissed.
But it wasn't great. And it was a shame.
Make it more unrecognisable.
The lad who was singing was good. You know what I mean? Yeah. I felt like going up to him afterwards and being like, are you two like a proper band? Do you play gigs? Are you a proper band? Like, you should maybe get rid of, you find somebody else.
Fuck him off.
Like, you know what I mean?
Proper Simon Cowell style.
And I was just sat there going, what? Why am I here?
What do you feel like?
I was like, I've been...
The calibre.
Yeah, and again, this kind of makes me sound like a dick, but as context for this, I've been gigging since I was like 13. I'm 24 now, right? And yeah, I've been off the circuit a little bit, and I was just doing these to get practice in. But also, I was like, is anybody trying here? I was like, I was looking around thinking, is anybody else seeing this? Like, am I going insane?
In a fucking fever dream.
I'm going insane. I'm sat here watching a boy badly play a cymbal and a suitcase.
Yeah. With a spoon and a makeup brush.
A teaspoon and a fucking makeup brush. So that was an ordeal.
Gotta follow your dreams, man.
And hopefully...
It's just like when... I don't know if they were on the road or not, but like when that geezer thought, fuck it, I'm going up.
Yeah.
Like, he should have had a plan. First of all, like, if you're going to go up, at least do it. Don't go up and go, fuck, what am I going to do?
And like I say, they seemed a few years younger than us, so I'm assuming maybe they were students or whatever.
Mark and John.
Yeah.
That sort of calibre of people.
John. Should we tell that story?
No. It's not a crazy story. It's just some fucking weird Donnies.
But yeah, so anyway, that was... And then, there was a couple other people and I went up.
Right. Was you last?
No. I think there was a couple more people after me, but I basically went up, did 3 songs. They'd said that you can do up to 3 songs, right? Everyone else was doing 2. I was like, I've drove all the way from Widnes. I've sat through what is now like over an hour of people doing this.
Mad shit.
Yeah. And again, like, caveat to this is like, I understand, like, I was shit at one point as well. Maybe still am shit, you know what I mean? But there was a point where I was like, oh yeah, I got this.
Right.
And I had like just a lack of self-awareness and I did not have this.
Didn't have it. Happens, mate.
And maybe that's the point where some of them were at. But I was just like, what's anybody gaining out of this? Because it felt like a new night. It felt like a lot of people that were there kind of knew each other. Maybe they were all students and stuff.
Right.
So it's like, you're just performing poetry to people that you already know. Like, you're just singing to people that you already know. None of it's particularly high caliber. None of it's getting us out of the position we're in. You're not elevating yourself by doing this.
It would have been the same reasons you had, just like get some practice in.
Yeah, and that is fair. So I went up and I did my 3 tunes, and it went well. I came off, and I was with Abby, and I was like, I'm going to the toilet and then we'll go.
Right.
And I don't like walking out when you go to
when you're done.
When you go to a mic, you don't want it to seem like you've just come, you're going to do you and then you fuck off. You know what I mean? Like when we went to the cavern, we stayed for like
everyone else that's going on.
Well, not everyone, but we stayed for like another hour. You know what I mean?
Show your face.
Yeah, exactly. We've just been sociable. And so I went to the toilet and came back, and there was an older woman on, and she was like actually doing it.
Poetry, or
poetry, yeah. But she was like performing it, like she was telling it as if it was a story. She was changing her pitch. She was fucking slowing bits down. She was speeding bits up. She was doing voices for different characters in the thing. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
But she did say, she was like, my husband left me today. right? She was like, so I'm gonna do one that might be a bit raw.
Okay.
But she was like, my husband literally left me at 6 o'clock, and this is like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
And I was like, if my husband left me at 6 o'clock, I would not be coming to do the open mic.
I'd be the opposite. I think if your husband leaves you at 6, you've got to go and do it now.
That is true. I guess you got nothing to lose.
You got to do it. Otherwise, what else are you doing?
Yeah. But then I did the gig the day after, like the gig that I was warming up for.
Mm.
It's a shame you couldn't come. I hope to see you at a future one. But you were missed, actually. People were like, oh, is Jacko not? Thought Jacko
Gonna put myself in the pictures.
Yeah. I look forward to seeing the Photoshopped edit. But it was weird, you know, like performing by myself again, because for years...
The last time I think you would have performed by yourself properly would have been pre-college, I think.
Do you think? No.
Yeah.
Maybe I still did like... Maybe as a solo artist, I would have done like Stranger's acoustic sets by myself.
I can only think of one.
Yeah, I did a couple, but still that was like years ago.
Two, actually.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I did think was quite nice is Sean and Jamie came to watch, right?
Right.
And
that's from the receiving end of Stranger songs.
Yeah. I played one of ours, Summer by Stockholm. Check it out if you haven't heard it. Good song. I opened with it. But as soon as I come off stage, I went into the little like side stage bit, and Sean and Jabsy just came in. There was no like, it's like there was no barrier in their mind of like, oh, this is the backstage. Should we go backstage? It was like, oh no, like this is our boy. Like we are all. It was like they were like, we're all just the unit still. You know what I mean? Even though I was playing the thing and Jabsy's not even in the band anymore. True. They come over and was just like, we were just chatting backstage as if we'd just come off stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What do you think about that though, actually? It's an interesting thing. Like, that 5 minutes coming straight off the stage, what do you think?
Oh, it's chaotic.
I think it's weird because, like, from what I've seen when you've been doing there, it's like you're packing up, but people are trying to fucking, like, assess what's just happened as well at the same time. And it's a proper weird vibe, I think.
Yeah, well, so, first of all, mentally, you're in a weird place because you're kind of on the adrenaline. A bit like you sort of a bit frenetic. You're trying to get your shit off stage and out the way for the next artist to come up.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, your head's a bit chaotic, but you're like, I've got a task to do. Mm-hmm. So you're trying to do this thing, but then people who have come to see you or just other people in general want to be like, oh hey, good set, you know what I mean, or whatever. To which. I was very lucky the other day, actually, because I feel like everybody understood the vibe.
Just fucking give me a minute.
Yeah, like Sean and Jabsy gave me a minute to pack away. They came and spoke to me. You know, Abby was like, he'll get to me eventually, you know. She was like, I'll just let him deal with other people first.
Yeah.
You know, my mum and dad just stood to the side.
I didn't know they were.
My mum and dad were
there. Everyone did go, mate.
There was like, you know, my friends were just chilling at the back. Everyone sort of got the vibe of, he'll come to us when he's ready, you know what I mean? But I've had it in the past where, like, I'm still on the stage trying to pack away shit, and someone comes up to the front of the stage and is like, oh my God, great set, and like trying to shake your hand, and I'm like, thank you, but please just fuck off, like, give me a minute.
I can't remember where we was one time, but like I seen you play live, and it was either that one in that record shop in Liverpool near Lime Street, that way.
Jacaranda. No, the record shop.
Yeah, it's not on it's like Peel Street, something like that.
See, on Seal Street.
Oh, Seal Street, yeah.
Well, Jacaranda's like round the corner from there. But that's where they've got the records upstairs.
You parked at the back, and I was in a car park somewhere else. Either way.
Oh, Renshaw Street.
Yeah.
And you helped with the sound, actually. Yeah.
And you finished, and you was like, oh, lad, fucking help us put some stuff in the car here. I was like, yeah, sound. And like there was other people there, like fucking Chloe and all them, not. So, like, we literally put stuff in the car, went round, and I'm pretty sure we didn't stay late after that.
No.
It was like, we're going. Mm-hmm. See you later, bye. And it was just weird, because I was in my own car, and you was in your car, and I was like, I just feel like, I don't know, like a dead abrupt exit, do you know what I mean? Exit stage left. It was proper mad. Like, you just finished, like, we didn't talk about it, and I was just like, hiya, mate.
Yeah.
Good set. Sounded well.
Well, can we actually... Do you remember what actually happened that night, though?
Do I remember what
You
happened?
stayed here that night.
Oh, is that when we went out?
Yeah.
Ah, right.
So we got, because I don't think you were
No
alone.
way, that's not the same
Didn't you
night.
take some of my friends?
That's not the same
I would have
night.
took the gear and the band and whoever I could fit in the car. Maybe some of them got the train back. You drove to Widnes. We went out. We went to him.
Because I remember that happening. I can't remember it being the same night.
It was the same night.
Barbecue and Dave night.
It was Barbecue and Dave night.
Mad,
yeah, we went out and then Jack and my friend Chloe stayed. You slept in the studio.
Yeah, we were doing some work.
Oh yeah, we were in the studio working at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And I remember Chloe came up. Kate had fell asleep down here.
Yeah.
Chloe came up with us. And I think
she was just like, how are you doing this?
After like 5 minutes, this is literally like 3 in the morning. After like 5 minutes, she was like, oh, they're actually working here. They're actually working on music. Like, yeah, I want to go downstairs and go to bed.
Yeah.
And then you slept on the mattress that I use for soundproofing in the studio, which is a horrible mattress.
Yeah, I don't remember it being bad though. I remember it being all right.
But that was before the studio had curtains. And this is like the summer. So I can't imagine you didn't wake up at
what would that have been on? You remember anything?
What were we working on?
Yeah.
Summer?
Would it?
Think so. Yeah, pretty sure.
But
full circle.
It happened at the Salty Dog, I think, as well.
What were you?
When I was with Killy.
Right, yeah, I remember that.
Like, I don't know what happened. He was like, can you just fucking pick this off the ample, please? And I was like,
yeah,
I guess. And then it was like, right, we're going.
Yeah.
I was like, right, okay.
Yeah, it's an awkward thing, first of all, because I don't like to just get off after a gig. But sometimes, like, I've been doing it for so long.
Do you ever get that feeling, like what I'm talking about? Because, like, one of my very good mates, Aaron, right, his missus used to do, like, ballet.
Mm.
And we went watching her once. And it proper just, like, changed my, like, view on her. Do you know what I mean? Because, like, she was fucking dead good.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've just, like, instantaneously gained, like, a ridiculous amount of, like, respect.
Yeah.
For you doing that. And she's like, all right, see you at school.
That's mad.
And I was like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Like, what do I do with like...
How it's almost like nothing to the performer because
Yeah.
they're used to it. Yeah. Yeah, that is strange. I've never really thought about it, you know. I guess I got a weird perspective on it after the other night because, like, people came who had never seen me before. Like, Abby brought people and, like, family and friends and stuff. And even Abby had never she'd seen me at those open mics, but she'd never really seen me play live much. And she was like,
it's like a proper stranger's gig.
There hasn't been one.
Fuck, that's a mad thought in it to think about. There's just not been one.
But she was like, I can't believe, like, when we were at the open mic at the Cavern, she was like, I'd be shitting myself right now. Like, I couldn't just walk up to that stage in front of this room of people that we've just been sat in. Yeah. And her dad said the same, like, take some balls, that. And I was like,
take balls, man.
I mean, I guess maybe it does. Like, I don't really think about it. I get nervous a little bit, but
I think it depends on, like, how you think about it. Because, like, I can see how some people would go up and go, oh, I'm going to be, like, instantly ridiculed for this thing.
Yeah.
That's like, you're just putting yourself out there, aren't you? To be judged. That's what it is.
I think I'm at a point in life now as well where I'm probably more confident as a person, but I'm like, okay, yeah, I know I can do this. I've done it many a time before. Yeah. And I know that people might not like me, but I'm not awful. I'm not playing a hi-hat with a teaspoon, you know what I mean?
And a makeup brush.
Like, I'm like, I can get through this and it'll be passable at the very worst, you know what I mean? But yeah, it is weird, the whole, like, come off stage and just leave thing. I try not to just leave straight away, but it is usually like, let's load the car.
Yeah.
At least,
just thinking about, like,
just chaos.
Bigger artists as well, like how they use, like, when they get in a car and they jet off.
Yeah.
That must fuck you up, that.
Yeah.
Going from, like, that extreme high to, like, solitude sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about this the other day because I was like, why don't they just go back in the dressing room and just, like, party for half an hour and then leave or whatever? But I think, do you reckon it's, like, just to get them out ahead of the traffic? You're playing an arena, like, thousands of people are going to be leaving at the same time.
I don't know, you know. I don't know whether it's just, like, a safety thing or, like, because people know that it happens, like, are they going to expect you to have, like, a fucking quick getaway car now?
Yeah.
So then you stay.
Yeah.
And wait it out.
I could only imagine it'd be crazy though, because, like, the energy in playing small rooms is a lot after shows. Sometimes playing an arena, you'd be, like, off your tits. You know what I mean? And then to come down into just nothing is crazy. Like you do have trouble sleeping.
I can see it being like a sort of like, you know, like bit of a jump with like drug addicts. That sort of thing. Like you've gone from that fucking extreme.
Yeah.
And like to nothing.
Yeah. Well, even I think I've had it when I've been like working on shows where you come home.
What, like at the theatre?
Yeah, you come home and your mind's racing because I would probably get more nervous doing audio at theatre than I do performing. Yeah. Because I'm just like, it feels like less my world. You know what I mean? I'm gigging and I'm like, it makes me nervous and I don't necessarily love it. But I'm like, oh, I can do this. Like, I've done this before. You know what I mean? And even though I've done a lot of shows now, I still get like, because it's a new show every time or whatever, I'm still like, at the start of the first time I'm like, my hand's like that on the desk. You know what I mean?
What's the first thing you've usually got to press in the theatre? Sound cue, lighting cue.
There's a sound cue. It's normally house music out.
Yeah.
Is the sound cue. So like you get a standby for it.
Yeah.
And then like my hand is like hovering over the go button or like the space bar or whatever. But like you know what I mean? Yeah. Or like one time we did it where like I got stood by for it.
Right.
They give you like a sound cue, whatever, stand by, and you press okay, I'm standing by. And I got the standby. I just hit go instead of to confirm the standby.
Yeah.
And it was like house music out in the interval. And I was like, I've gone with the house music. Can we just start the show now, please?
Everybody rush. I may have fucked up slightly. No, at the moment, I can see you thinking, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, it won't be that big.
Like, that's the thing. Like, Kate, who is the sound designer, who's like kind of my boss when I do theatre stuff, she's like, no one's going to die. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's fucking so true. But I think that about loads of stuff, like stress-wise.
Yeah.
Like when people are proper like, especially like at work, because I work with food, right? And like when people are kicking off, it's like, lad, I'm like, we should fucking take a step back and like, what is the worst thing that's going to happen here?
It's not the end of the world.
It's just mad how like stress develops.
Yeah.
I think that sort of way.
I was talking the other day about, you know, when we went to Barcelona and we went to that museum and there was like one walkway where it was like fossils from different times and they were like fucking millions of years apart.
Right.
And it was like, oh, like there was shit going on the earth for like a fucking billion years before we were even an idea.
Right, okay.
And you think about stuff like that. And I was talking to Kate about it, Kate Isles, my friend. And I was just like, oh, like nothing really matters. You know what I mean?
That's deep.
Like it matters, but it does. Like it matters, but it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? Like if I'd have gone on stage the other night and sucked, absolutely bombed.
Well, a crazy word, isn't it?
It wouldn't
have been. Just use fucking war torn.
AK-47.
Yeah. Absolutely nuked.
Yeah, if I'd have gone up there and like
you're on a shit day.
Shit.
Yeah.
Like it would have been fine.
Yeah, would have been fine. Would have been bad for a little bit.
It's embarrassing, but
it's
like,
just timing it, man.
I've done embarrassing stuff on stage before. It's fine.
And that's like, again, with a lot of people that like go through shit and have issues and stuff, it's like, it's true that the best thing to do is you just have to wait. You just have to wait and see what happens. And, you know, time will do its thing. But like, because you got to take every day a day at a time, minute at a time.
Especially
it's long, man.
With performance stuff, like people forget. You know what I mean? Like you fuck up, and like that might stay. Like you get like there's been times where I've had a bad gig or whatever. You go home, you're like, oh my god, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Fucked up that guitar solo where I said this between the song and maybe seemed like a dickhead or whatever.
Yeah.
But like no one.
No, yeah, I like to think that people like dwell on it stuff. Like I always think like if you play a wrong string or something or a wrong note or something, like presses the wrong key on a fucking keyboard, you have like 4 seconds where they'll go, whoa. Hear that then? Have you
ever been at a gig and like seen anything really embarrassing?
What, for like the performers?
Yeah. Or do you think people blend it quite well?
The first time I watched Charlie XCX, well, the only time I've ever seen Charlie XCX,
right,
was when she was supporting Coldplay in 2012. So this is like pre any sort of like big fame. Like I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Why?
Because she just sounded whack. Sounded very crazy. Like the auto, I don't know, she was out of tune. But obviously, like she does a lot of auto tune, which is obviously like a stylistic choice, which is fine. And like she was just kind of like going ham in her own little world, and she had like a guitarist and like maybe like a drummer on like an SPD.
Mm-hmm.
But it just like they were vibing on their own, but it just sounded crazy, and she just wasn't like the vocals weren't done properly, and that's when I was like, you're supporting one of the biggest bands here.
Yeah.
Like, how is it got to this point where like this is like proper amateur hour?
Yeah.
That's when I was like, that was mad.
Do you think your opinion of her was soiled by that? Like, did it take you a while to be able to look at her and be
Probably
like,
not, no, because like when like Icon of Pop came out with I Love It, and that was Charlie XCX, that was like, oh well, that's really good.
Yeah.
Like on the track, she sounds really good. Like it's produced extremely well.
Yeah.
But it just didn't translate over to the live.
Yeah.
But I feel like obviously now, like it's very different. People do a lot more sort of like auto-tune live and that sort of shit.
Yeah.
Like I think it's just done better now.
Maybe she. Do you think she like was a trendsetter in that realm? Because it's a weird thing to do auto-tune live. I guess it's a hip hop thing really, mainly.
Yeah. Like I'm just trying to think. Like the first thing I always think about is like Kanye probably.
Right. Yeah.
Doing like robotic and stuff and like.
Yeah.
808 and Heartbreak sort of style doing auto-tune, but then you're like T-Pain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like people were surprised when T-Pain sang without auto-tune, and they were like, oh,
how good he was. Yeah. I was definitely
people
surprised.
think like, if you're a shit singer, auto-tune will just make you a good singer, and that is not the case.
I think if you're a shit, it will put you on a pitch, won't it? Whether you sang it well or not.
It'll put you on pitch, but it won't make you. That doesn't mean you're going to sound
sing
good.
well. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, that's like two outsiders, I guess. Auto-tune is seen as like this magic button that you kind of press and it makes you sound fucking amazing. Yeah. But it's just another like tool, isn't it? Really?
It fucks me off when someone will use it as a stylistic choice, and then a load of people will be like, why do they feel like they need auto-tune? Their voice is so fucking good. It's like because it's just like saying, why have they put reverb on the vocal? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like it's an effect.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Like, I think Billie Eilish had a big thing with that. If you heard NDA,
yeah,
that tune, so she does a little bit of auto tune on that. And people are like, why does she feel the need? She's just got such an amazing voice. It's like she knows she's got an amazing voice. We all know she's got an amazing voice. That isn't what this is. It's
not like she sang it. Someone's gone on the back and like, oh damn man, I think she needs a bit of auto tune on that. Exactly. Don't tell her.
And also like, every song has pitch correction on it.
Oh man, yeah.
Like if you're not like a musician and you don't know this, every song has pitch correction on it. Even if it's not like obvious auto tune that sounds like an effect or sounds like T-Pain or whatever, it's running through something and it's being pitch corrected.
Yeah, it's not even to make it like sound like incredibly different. It's just like to control it.
Yeah, exactly. Or you can even use like auto tune subtly just because of the way it compresses the vocal or whatever. You know what I mean? It just gives it that slick pop sound.
Yeah, man. Like I think that one of the biggest game changers. Because I was talking about this, like what we learned music wise, like across like the years and stuff. Parallel compression, vocal line, realizing that exists was a proper like.
Do you think people know what that is?
I don't think they might not know exactly what a vocal line is, but like.
Yeah, it is mad, doesn't it?
It just puts the timing together, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Fixes the transients.
Yeah.
If you want, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, so when like we realized, it kind of like clicked and like, oh, this is what they do.
Yeah,
that blew my head.
Everything just like you're just polishing shit, aren't you?
Have you got anything like that? Like when you realised it was a thing, you was like, oh my god, proper game changer.
Vocal line was one. Did I tell you about that? No.
I don't know if you told me about vocal line or whether I just watched it in a video and I was like, bro, what the fuck is this?
One of those Red Bull Music Academy ones.
Maybe, I don't know. I can just remember watching it when it being blue and orange.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it was lining up.
Yeah, vocal line was one.
Like obviously now on like the Cubase we use, you can just highlight and press Q. Oh lad, audio quantizing.
Yeah, audio quantizing. Because do you not used to be able to do that, or just no?
There wasn't. You couldn't do it before.
On Cubase.
That's why like vocal line was such a big deal.
Yeah,
because like obviously like quantizing MIDI like was dead easy, and then they just did a thing where you can do it with the audio as well.
I think Slate Trigger.
Oh, you're obsessed, yeah.
Was a big one for me though, but it's because we were doing music that sounded like the sounds of it were like very stylized. So if I'd used a certain drum sound in the demo, I wanted to be able to use it in the actual track.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just can't achieve that by recording the drum. You have to like use the samples that you've used in the demo or whatever. So being able to just replace whatever Jamie was playing with the sample was like, because I remember the first time we ever did it, I had to, before I had Slate Trigger, I had to like hand trigger it. So we got Jamie to record it. Right. And I looked at the file and I went along every transient for the entire song, every snare hit, and put a snare sample underneath it.
Right.
And then like change the velocities to sort of match what it was doing. You know what I mean?
Hooked,
but it fucking took ages.
Yeah,
and it didn't sound like
natural.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas now,
that's like fucking whack it on.
Yeah,
change it completely.
Game changer. Jono didn't know about that either. I told Jono about it, and he was like, "This is fucking changed."
What's like Trigger?
Yeah,
that was a college thing, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. What else has been a complete game changer?
We are getting a bit audio nerdy now, aren't we?
Yeah, well, it's what we're here for, innit? About music and the people who make it. We make it. We can fucking talk about whatever we want. Don't like it? Fuck it off.
True.
What's it called? Little Old Boy, formant shifting.
Yeah.
That fucked me up.
It is weird that we used
I think it's mad that I say negative things in like positive terms. Like that fucks me up.
Yeah.
Like that was like how it blew my mind. That was dead impressive.
I think that's just like a northern thing.
Yeah, I am northern. Carry on.
Being like, oh, that's heavy, but that means a good thing.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're a scouser, it's a bad thing.
Like a weapon. A weapon. When I was growing up, it was like a good person. Like, oh, you're dead. You're dead hard. You're a weapon.
No, a weapon's like
like
you're fucking weapon.
Yeah, you're a weird guy.
Yeah. It's just mad how we used to listen to stuff in songs. Like I remember thinking, like, how the fuck did they do that? Whereas now you can listen to it and go, oh yeah, that thing. You know what I mean? You can like just reverse engineer it.
Do you think it ruins listening to music though?
No, not in the slightest.
I think it does.
No, sometimes it does, but I've learned to sort of like listen to things.
Well, just like,
listen. Like casually, yeah.
Because there's like listening to music and there's like listening.
If there's something crazy,
someone like pricks your ears up.
Yeah. Or like if I'm like out somewhere and something comes on that's like a bit mad.
Right.
It takes me out of being wherever I am and then I'm thinking about the song. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I always just have this thing with Ellie about radio presenters.
Right.
And like the fader when they're talking in the music.
Yeah.
Like I always thought it was some sort of side chain thing. But like
it's not, they're just doing it manually.
Yeah, it's just manual, yeah. Because like Nick Grimshaw, I was like, oh, he's got a fucking heavy side chain on his voice. But no, they just have like a little.
That is mad.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
That's very mad. Yeah. I was talking to someone the other day about how there isn't really any good, like Radio 1's kind of its arse.
Oh, it's arse?
Yeah, because like Grimmy was always like the personality, but then like even then you had like Annie Mac, which was like, she was like the music person, like she was fucking playing the new shit that's like, and she was like cool and she was always finger on the pulse. And like before that you had like Zane Lowe, who was like the trendsetter of like, he played it, it was going to be a hit, you know what I mean? I feel like everyone is just dead annoying who's on there now. You got like fucking Jack Saunders.
Clara Amfo.
I shouldn't talk shit about Jack Saunders. Play my records, Jack.
Like, I think people will look at this the same way. Like, we are, like, I always bring up Marvel. Do you know what I mean? Like, people are going to look at what you're saying as like the same way as people look at the MCU. Like, people think it's shit now because what they like is gone.
Yeah, you do talk about that quite a lot.
I think it's a good analogy about people.
It's not bad, to be fair.
People change with the times, I guess, is what it's about.
Yeah, that is true.
Like, instead of something growing out of style, you're growing it out of the thing.
You grow out of it, you mean?
Yeah, so like people now are like at that age now where Marvel's been going for like 10, 12 years.
Yeah, but
you're growing out of it.
It's weird because you have to be objective about it because you can also argue about the quality of something.
You can, but I think...
objectively, I don't think Marvel films are as good as they used to be. We have this conversation like every 3 podcasts.
We'll save this for a film one.
Yeah, you should
if we ever do
let
something.
us know if you're watching this. Should we do a film podcast?
Yeah, I might have shit opinions about music.
I was going to say, like, I feel like we can't do a film podcast together because all of your opinions about film are fucking outrageous.
This is what's crazy, though, because like everyone pretty much agrees with me on my film
I don't
takes.
think they do, man.
And like, I'm like, you say you have good film taste, and every time we talk about it, you're like polar opposite to me.
I don't know many people that agree with you on stuff.
You just don't know many people, then, do you?
Well, maybe that is also true. Well,
But like every time, like maybe not every time, you know. Let me just put it out there. But most of the time, when I'm speaking to someone and we're talking about films, they go, yeah. Oh, exactly, yeah. Like I proper get what you mean. I'm like,
every time you say something about film, I'm like,
and you're like, lad, what are you watching?
Yeah, you do say some ridiculous shit. But anyway, we'll wrap there because we've got a YouTube video to film, which may or may not come out before or after this podcast.
Right.
So thank you for listening and watching to this episode of Stereotypical Chat Shit.
Yeah.
Please do like and subscribe to the YouTube channel.
I wish I could just throw some enthusiasm at you in this part of the podcast every time.
Okay. Thank you for listening and watching this.
Listening.
Thank you for listening to and watching this
following
episode
along
of the Stereotypical Podcast. You can find all of the links to our social in the YouTube description. If you are listening to the audio only version on Spotify or whatever platform you're on, please do be sure to follow or subscribe to us on there, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Jack, hit him with the motherfucking piece.